Congratulations. All right, guys.
This is where we walk in.
That's the way we walk in.
Welcome to Sports Done Right. I'm your host, Hunter Wright. We've got a lot to talk about today, but as always, all talking points are timestamped in the description of this video. Let's get right into it. First and foremost, if my voice does sound a bit odd, it's because I have had a sore throat lately, but let's get into the news. Coach Prime lands in Boulder. That's right, Deion Sanders has left Jackson State for the University of Colorado. Lamar Jackson, Matthew Stafford, and Jimmy Garoppolo all have new injury news. Baker Mayfield is at a career crossroads. And sportsbook agency fakes Drew Brees' death. Not so much death, but, well, if you haven't seen the commercial, we're going to talk about it. So Deion Sanders, during his 3 seasons at Jackson State University, went 27-5. He's coming off an undefeated season where Jackson State won the SWAC championship for the 2022 season. He has now signed a 5-year, $30 million contract with the University of Colorado, who only had 1 win last year. This is a 1-win team, but it is a Division I team, so Deion Sanders is moving up in the world of college football. Some people aren't happy about it. Some people think that this makes him a sellout and that everything he said about revitalizing HBCU was all a lie. Those people are just petty, ignorant, and completely oblivious to the fact that Deion Sanders accomplished everything he needed to accomplish in HBCU. SWAC games never would have made it to TV if Deion Sanders hadn't been there. Now they get aired on TV. He brought eyes to these schools and these players. And now he's moving on to become a Division I coach. Mission accomplished, in my opinion. But that's not all. Deion Sanders' son, Shedeur Sanders, is going to be transferring to Colorado. He already announced the transfer, and Deion already named him the starting quarterback for Colorado. Shedeur, in his sophomore season, completed over 70% of his passes for 3,383 yards, 36 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 174 rushing yards, and 5 rushing touchdowns. I think Shedeur Sanders is going to open a lot of eyes at Colorado. Now, Lamar Jackson sustained a sprained PCL in the Ravens game against the Broncos. He's expected to be out 1 to 3 weeks. But if you're a Baltimore fan, never fear, because Tyler Huntley is here. Last season, Tyler Huntley was my runner-up for preseason MVP. The third-year quarterback out of Utah was 1-3 as a starter last season. And in the Ravens game against the Broncos, Tyler Huntley was 27 of 32, 187 yards, no touchdowns, 1 interception, but he ran the ball 10 times for 41 yards and a touchdown. And his 2-yard touchdown run with 28 seconds left in the game secured a 10-9 victory for the Ravens. Now, moving on to Jimmy Garoppolo. Garoppolo broke his foot against Miami. Originally, people believed his season was going to be over, but it has just been discovered it is not a Liz Frank injury. He could return for a deep playoff run. But with Garoppolo hurt and Trey Lance still out, that leaves the fate of the Niners with Brock Purdy. Now, Brock Purdy was drafted 262nd overall in last year's draft, making him Mr. Irrelevant, the final player picked in the draft. But he became the first ever Mr. Irrelevant to throw a touchdown pass in the NFL. He was 9-3 at Iowa State in 2020, but they had a down year in 2021, slipping to 7-6, causing Purdy to slip in the draft. He completed 25 of 37 passes for 210 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception in San Francisco's 33-17 victory over Miami. Speaking of which, Tua Tagovailoa had not the best game of his season, throwing 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. He was pulled on the final drive for being banged up. Skylar Thompson would finish out the game for Miami. But Tua is not severely injured. He's not going to miss any game time in the games to come. Matthew Stafford has been placed on IR with a spinal contusion, which anytime you're talking about injuries and the word spinal comes up, that's never good. Stafford is eligible to return week 17, but likely will be out for the season. I see no need for Stafford to come back. It's a lost season for the Rams. They've only won 3 games. They're not going to make the playoffs. No chance in hell. They are completely eliminated. But Stafford was 12-5 as the Rams starter in 2021. So far in 2022, Stafford's 3-6 as their starter. John Wolford is 0-2 as a starter. And then there's Bryce Perkins, who lost his lone start. But it's not over for the Rams. They just brought in another QB. That would be Baker Mayfield, as they have claimed Mayfield off of waivers. Now, the former number 1 overall pick only has a cap hit of $1.35 million, which the Rams will gladly take because, well, they can't just roll with John Wolford and Bryce Perkins. I mean, they could. It's a lost season, but they're playing for pride at this point. They're not even. You can't even lose for better draft position. You don't have a first-round draft pick. That first-round draft pick belongs to Detroit because you trade for Stafford. So you can't win for a playoff spot. You can't lose for draft stock. They are just completely in no man's land, so you might as well play for pride. And that's why they're bringing in Baker. Baker Mayfield was drafted by Cleveland first overall in 2018. He was traded to Carolina for a conditional pick. If Mayfield plays 70% of Carolina's snaps, then they give up a 4th-round pick. Otherwise, they only give up a 5th-round pick. So waiving Baker secures that they only have to give Cleveland a 5th-round pick for the former number 1 overall draft pick, which, my lord, has his value depreciated. Mayfield would compete with Sam Darnold for the starting job. Darnold was the 3rd overall pick in 2018. Yikes. Mayfield was named the starter after Darnold got injured prior to the start of the season. Unfortunately for Mayfield, in 2022, he has only completed 57.8% of his passes, 187.6 yards per game, 6 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, and a quarterback rating of 18.3, all of which are career lows. And since quarterback rating has become an official stat in 2006, there have been 521 qualified quarterbacks with a quarterback rating. Baker Mayfield is 2nd to last ever in the history of this statistic for a single season, which I cannot even begin to wrap my mind around how bad that is. Honestly, the Panthers' best options at quarterback ranked are P.J. Walker, Sam Darnold, Jacob Eason, a one-legged Matt Corral, punter Johnny Hecker, who on his career has completed 14 of 23 passes at 60.9%, 186 yards, a touchdown, an interception, and a passer rating of 82.9. And then there's Baker. So, yeah, not hard to see why he was waived. And, this isn't me throwing shade at Baker. This isn't me trying to be funny. He honestly doesn't even stack up to the punter as far as throwing the football. The punter's job is to kick the ball. But the punter's got better career passing stats than Baker has for this season. In a vacuum, your punter is a better quarterback than your QB1. I mean, there was some hope for Baker. If Baker would have been waived and would have been claimed by San Francisco, I think Kyle Shanahan is the only man that could rehabilitate him. But San Francisco was so far down the waiver priority list, they never got a chance. They ended up picking up Josh Johnson, who has been a member of the 49ers on 2 separate occasions already. This will now be his 3rd tenure with the Niners. But Kyle Shanahan is the only hope is the only one that has a chance to rehabilitate Baker and revitalize his career. But no, Baker is now a member of the Rams, who have been in utter chaos and complete tailspin since winning the Super Bowl. And you know what? Sean McVay figured out how to get the most out of Jared Goff. He might be able to, seemingly get the most. He might be able to get the most out of Baker, but just not the way that Kyle Shanahan would have been able to. And we've talked about how bad Baker's been on this show before. Like, it does seem like the only man capable of fixing this is Kyle Shanahan. I didn't think he could possibly look worse than when he played last year with a torn labrum in his left shoulder, but surprise, he looks worse.
Just put him bad, man.
You don't leave Cleveland and get worse. Oh no, Baker doesn't get bad. Bad is too good for Baker. Unfortunately, Baker's going and couldn't start in the USFL. Come on.
He hasn't been that bad.
Hasn't been that bad. 1-4 record, 54.9% completion percentage, 962 yards, 4 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, and a quarterback rating of 15.
How do you get a QBR of 15?
Exactly. And that brings us to the Drew Brees commercial, or ad, commercial ad, whatever, with PointsBet USA. And oh man, it has sparked a lot of outrage. And usually I think people take things way too literally, but this time I can kind of see why people are mad. So first I'm going to show you the actual video that went viral. Now, just to clear up any confusion, yes, that was supposedly Drew Brees being struck with a lightning bolt. Struck by lightning. PointsBet posted a video that was shot to look like a candid, behind-the-scenes moment where Drew Brees was shockingly struck by lightning. Which would not have been that bad if it wasn't for what they did next. Not only did they shoot the video to try and make it look real, like he was actually struck by lightning, like this wasn't a freak accident, or like this was a freak accident. But then they posted, they tweeted, "We are aware of the media coverage regarding PointsBet brand ambassador Drew Brees. We are in communication with Brees' team and will continue to monitor events throughout the coming hours. At this stage, we will not be making any further comment." They tried to act like it was real. Like, not only did you shoot the video to try and make it look real, that's fine. But when you go and issue statements like this and act like this actually happened, that's why people are mad. And then you got Drew Brees over here looking like burnt toast, posting a video saying, "Hey guys, I'm fine." The whole thing looked bad. It just looked bad for everyone involved. I can only imagine what was going through Drew Brees' mind reading the script. And people on Twitter have been tearing them apart for it. This one says, "Either Drew Brees was struck by lightning filming a commercial and this is an awful statement, or this is the worst publicity stunt to ever exist." Oh, yeah, it was a pretty shameless publicity stunt. Yep. I would like a recording of the PointsBet marketing meeting where someone suggested they fake kill Drew Brees in a lightning strike. This will go viral. It'll be so cool. 19-year-old Gen Z intern from Yale. I already said I want to see. I would love to have seen Drew Brees' face when they told him. Yeah, so plan is you get struck by lightning. Beg your pardon? Yeah, you're gonna get struck by lightning. And then we're gonna act like it was real. We're gonna issue statements and everything. What? Either Drew Brees was fully struck by lightning or PointsBet's running the worst marketing scheme of all time. Lawsuit or court of public opinion, either way, PointsBet is about to get slaughtered. Well, it has been court of public opinion so far, and yes, they are getting slaughtered for it. A PointsBet boardroom 3 months ago. CEO, does anybody have any new marketing ideas? Intern whispers under their breath, "We should kill Drew Brees." Executive shouts, "We should kill Drew Brees." Yes, that's the plan. I mean, it got people talking about him. I'll say this. It definitely got people talking about PointsBet. There is a person out there who actually thought, let's make a fake video of Drew Brees getting struck by lightning so it will go viral, and then maybe people will sign up to use our sportsbook. And the tweet under this one says, "Wait, so they pretended Drew Brees got struck by lightning for retweets?" Yeah, that's what they did. That is exactly what they did. So moving on to offensive and defensive players of the week. First of all, since we didn't do a show last week, the Week 12 Offensive Player of the Week was Josh Jacobs, 229 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns, 6 catches for 74 yards, 303 total yards, and an 86-yard touchdown run in overtime to beat Seattle 40-34. That doesn't tell the whole story. That was an 86-yard touchdown run in overtime up the middle. Up the middle. Not running down the sideline, up straight through the center of the field, through the D-line, through the linebacking core, through the secondary. 86-yard touchdown run up the middle in overtime. Where is the defense? Defensive Player of the Week, Week 12, Brian Burns of the Carolina Panthers, 3 tackles, 2 sacks, 3 quarterback hits. He dominated the most hated quarterback in the NFL. And if Russell Wilson's not the most hated quarterback in the NFL, then he's just the one everyone loves to hate on. Week 13, Offensive Player of the Week is Devontae Adams, 8 catches, 177 yards, 2 touchdowns. And those 2 touchdowns came in the second half to lead the Raiders the victory over the Chargers 27-20, and also helped secure the 2 seed for my fantasy team in my fantasy league. That's why I took this man in the first round. Defensive player of the week, another Raider, Chandler Jones. 6 tackles, 3 sacks, 5 QB hits. Chandler Jones has been one of the biggest disappointments in the entire NFL this year. And seemingly one of the biggest disappointments that nobody's talking about because there have been so many disappointments, like, half of the AFC West in general. But Chandler Jones only had half a sack all year coming into this game. He walks out with 3. So congratulations to Chandler Jones. And that's been Sports Done Right. I've been Hunter Wright. Thank you so much for watching. And if you enjoyed the video, then like the video, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel for more. And I'll see you guys next time.